Here you go. Same tone, same vibe, same length, just cleaner and punchier. So, it looks like Diddy might actually be home for Christmas this year. At least, that's what Christian Combs hinted at after TMZ kept pressing him nonstop. It's sounding like Diddy could be out way sooner than anyone expected. He might even be coming home as early as next month.
That's right.
He coming home though, man. Just watch out. He might come home.
No, so do you know something?
Okay, everybody, let's sit down, settle in, and really talk this through, because what happened today at LAX with Christian Combs has opened up a whole new wave of confusion, speculation, and flat-out disbelief. And the way this entire moment unfolded, especially with TMZ being involved, has made things even more dramatic than they needed to be. So let's start from the very top and walk slowly through everything, because I want to make sure everybody, especially my older viewers, the folks who've seen decades of celebrity ups and downs, gets a clear and steady understanding of what went down, what it means, and why people are responding the way they are. No rush, no speeding through details, we're just going to let it flow. So, Christian Combs, the son of Sean Diddy Combs, was walking through LAX today. Just a regular airport moment. Nothing glamorous, nothing special, no entourage, no staged appearance, just him going about his business. But as you all know, when TMZ is lurking around with cameras, nothing stays quiet, private, or peaceful for long. They zero in like hawks, and that's exactly what happened here. They approached him, swarmed him, and began peppering him with questions nonstop. They didn't even give him time to blink between questions, let alone gather his thoughts or figure out how to respond. Christian, being as young as he is and never having been the type to be heavily media trained, found himself standing there with flashes going off, microphones pushed in his face, and strangers shouting things at him about his father's prison situation. And you could tell, anyone with life experience could tell, that the poor kid was uncomfortable. He tried to be polite, tried to keep it together, but you could see the nerves written all over his face. The uncertainty, the awkward smiles, the hesitation. For someone who isn't used to being interrogated publicly, it's a lot. Now, the interesting part, the part that got people online talking, was that Christian kept hinting, in his own gentle, indirect way, that Diddy might be coming home soon. He didn't make bold declarations. He didn't claim to have inside information, but he kept dropping these little hints. First, he said his father was doing well behind bars. Then he said they were optimistic. Then he said the family would probably be playing the Diddy Free song around Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then he added, almost as if he couldn't help himself, that maybe they might not even have to play it for long because, according to him, Diddy could actually be home before Christmas. Let me say that again. He suggested his father might be home before Christmas. That's next month. Now let's pause right here because we need to be honest with each other. That's not realistic. Not with the charges, not with the investigations, not with the legal complications stacking up. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't align with the facts. And most people who followed celebrity legal cases for years can see instantly when someone is speaking from hope rather than information. And that's what this was, hope not fact. And again, I'm not judging Christian. I'm not attacking him. He's a young man talking about his father, and hope is natural. But hope can sometimes make people say things that don't line up with reality, especially when they're ambushed and overwhelmed. What made this whole interaction even messier was what TMZ did next. They asked Christian straight-faced what he thought about the pictures and videos that have been circulating of Diddy inside the prison yard. They asked this as though they were innocent observers, just watching things unfold. But the truth, the part that every single viewer over the age of 65 immediately understands, is that TMZ themselves are the ones releasing those photos and videos. They're the ones who got the footage. They're the ones who posted the stills of Diddy looking thinner, older, and tired. They're the ones who circulated the short clip of him walking around the yard with that strange, unsettling smile on his face. They're the ones publishing the surveillance-style images of him talking to people, pacing around, adjusting his clothing, and looking visibly stressed. And yet, here they were, asking Christian what he thought of the footage, as if it came from some random bystander rather than their own newsroom. The hypocrisy was enormous. But of course, Christian couldn't call them out. He didn't have the media training to turn it back on them and say, well, you're the ones releasing it, so why would you ask me what I think? And honestly, even if he wanted to say that, he wouldn't have dared. The boy looked overwhelmed. He just kept smiling nervously and tried to deflect. A lot of older viewers watching this probably felt a little protective of him, because you could see that this wasn't a hardened celebrity or a prepared spokesperson. This was just someone's child being pushed into the spotlight because of his father's downfall. Now, about that video of Diddy, the one that came out yesterday, the reactions have been intense. People have been saying the same thing over and over. That he looked sinister, eerie, unsettling, or simply not like himself. And they're not wrong. In that clip, his face looks dramatically thinner. His cheeks are hollowed out. His hair is noticeably gray. And the smile, the one that everyone keeps talking about, it didn't look like the smile of a man who's happy or content. It looked like the smile of someone who's trying to send a message, or trying to keep up appearances, or trying to intimidate someone nearby. Something about it just did not sit right with people. And look, for older viewers who've lived through decades of watching famous people rise, fall, and sometimes crumble, body language speaks volumes. People know when a smile isn't a smile but a warning. They know when someone's eyes tell a different story than their mouth. And that's exactly what was happening in that video. Now, let's talk for a moment about the prison leaks themselves, because this is where a lot of people get confused. Especially folks who grew up in a time where prisons were strict, locked down, and heavily controlled. Many older viewers don't know that in modern prisons, contraband phones are incredibly common. Not for everyone, but certainly common enough that videos get recorded and sold all the time. I had people commenting saying, "I didn't know inmates could sneak phones into prison. Isn't that impossible?" And I completely understand that confusion. It seems like something that shouldn't be able to happen. But the truth is, it happens more often than you'd expect. People bring in phones, sometimes with help from guards, sometimes through other inmates, sometimes through workers coming in and out. Not every prison, not every situation, but enough that it's not shocking anymore. So yes, someone inside Fort Dix probably filmed Diddy and sold the footage to TMZ, either for money or attention. And yes, Diddy is most likely furious about it. But back to TMZ, they're the ones stirring this pot more than anyone else. The reason we're even having these conversations is because TMZ keeps dropping exclusive after exclusive. Alcohol stories, phone call stories, yard footage, still images, rumors, they haven't held back at all. And the question that lingers, especially for my older viewers who know how media politics work, is, why? Why this sudden shift? Why is TMZ acting like they're out for revenge? Why are they releasing everything they get their hands on? Something behind the scenes has clearly changed, and we don't know what it is. Christian didn't know what it was either. He looked confused when they asked whether he had spoken to the White House. That question alone shows you how absurd this whole situation has become. Why would Christian Combs be talking to the White House about his father's prison sentence? The kid just stood there, smiling awkwardly, not knowing what to say. Anyone who's ever been put on the spot knows exactly what that expression looks like. Now, here's something that older viewers can really understand. Some celebrities create their own spotlight, while others only get attention because of someone they're connected to. With Janet Jackson, for example, if someone approaches her, they're approaching her. She carved out her own legacy that stands independently of her brother Michael Jackson, even though he was the biggest superstar in the world. But Christian and King Combs don't have that kind of independent legacy. Their relevance, in the public's eyes, comes almost entirely from their association with their father. And that's unfortunate. But it's true. And that's why they get swarmed like this. TMZ doesn't care about Christian's music, his projects, or his life. They care about what he might accidentally reveal about Diddy. Now, as if all that wasn't enough drama, Donald Glover came out recently and revealed that he had suffered a stroke last year. A stroke. Out of nowhere. And it stopped his performances, his touring, everything he had lined up. He said it came with unbearable pain in his head, and even though he finished his show that night, the medical scare was serious. And this is something that older viewers understand deeply, because strokes are frightening, unpredictable, and increasingly common even among younger people for reasons that doctors still debate. People aren't eating as well. People aren't exercising as much. Modern stress is higher. Lifestyle habits have shifted. And here we have yet another celebrity dealing with something medical and terrifying. Donald even joked that he was copying Jamie Foxx. But underneath the joke is something very real and very serious. And in the middle of all this, we also heard Jonathan Hay give an interview to CNN. And let me tell you, CNN giving airtime to someone involved in the allegations against Diddy is a massive sign. That means this story isn't going away. It means the seriousness of the accusations is only growing. It means people in positions of influence are paying attention. And this all circles back to why Christian's optimism about an early release doesn't line up with reality. The case is snowballing. More stories are coming out. More media outlets are joining in. TMZ, CNN, YouTube, bloggers, everyone is talking. And every time a new detail drops, it pushes the possibility of an early release further and further away. So when Christian smiles and says he might be home before Christmas, you can't help but feel a little sad for him, because he's holding on to hope that the rest of the world knows is not going to turn into reality. And it's not his fault. It's what children do when their parents are in trouble. They hope. Now, let me close this out by saying this. We are going to keep talking about Diddy as long as TMZ keeps dropping these exclusives. They're controlling this narrative, not the family, not the lawyers, not the public. And until they stop, the world is going to keep watching and reacting, especially now that bigger news outlets are stepping in. So make sure you subscribe, stay tuned, and keep your notifications on, because we're nowhere near the end of this story. And trust me, if you've lived long enough, you can already feel it. Things are about to get even more intense. I'll see you all very soon.